All right. What's up, guys? Welcome to the 330 Sports Show. My name is Justin Coffin, and as you can see, we got a Penguin contingent down here. We got head coach Doug Phillips. To my right, to my left, we got quarterback Beau Brungard. In the middle there, we got Alex McDonald, and on the far left, we got Leigh. How are you all doing today? Everybody good?
Oh, good. Great. Got our workout in this morning. We feel great.
All right. Appreciate you guys coming down. We were talking before, Coach. You said Sunday. I mean, these guys are working out and stuff off season, but Sunday you guys get going for real. So, what's this? We were talking. You don't get much of an off season anymore, but what's this kind of off season leading up to the season been like so far?
It's really good. Just working on the connectedness. I think that's important. These guys, the locker room, the brotherhood, and it's different now. You have OTAs. You can go through your base offense, base defense, and get 3 installs by the time you get to camp. So it's a little bit different than what it was in the past. They're in shape. They've been working out five days a week. They might have had July 4th that week off, but they've been here since June 1st and coming off spring ball and got great leaders. I brought these guys. They all came in the same class together, all Northeast Ohio guys, came in together, stayed together, and excited to see them play this fall.
Absolutely. That's great. So this one right here? Okay, Coach. That one then. All right. So as Coach mentioned, we have 3 Northeast Ohio guys, Springfield, Kent, Chardon and Kent. So, you guys growing up here, what so far, and Beau, we'll start with you. Your dad obviously played here and you have a great history with Youngstown State, but what is it like playing for kind of like your hometown college? What's it been like for all 3 of you? We'll start with Beau.
Yeah. I love it. That's the reason I came here in the first place. And that's the reason I stayed. Was like the family aspect, what football means to this town, what it means to my family, what it means to me personally. I don't know if there's many places that you're going to find that around the country, and a lot of those things combined just made me want to stay and made me want to play here. So
absolutely,
yeah.
All right, Alex, how about you?
Yeah, it's definitely a great opportunity. I didn't know much about Youngstown before I obviously came here on my first visit, and I realized immediately that football was such a large part of the community down here, and being close to my family was also a huge plus. So I definitely thought like this was the place for me after that
Chardon
first
High
visit.
School, right?
Yeah, Chardon High School.
A little bit over an hour away, right?
Yeah, just over an hour.
All right, very good.
State champ though.
Two-time state champ, right? Did you beat Campfield in the one playoffs? Twice. Okay. All right. Very good. All right, Des, how about you? Kent, Ohio.
It's been great. I mean, just being so close to home, my parents get to come to all the games. They haven't really missed a game for 3 years. My friends can come down. So just being so close, it's been nice. And then being in this community has been great.
That's awesome. Roosevelt High School. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. So, Coach, we were talking a little bit before how things have changed so much, not just from, a calendar perspective of like these guys are working out today, preseason camp. I heard Beau say like they told my dad to just show up in shape right in August before the season started. Now it's like you guys are, it's a full-time job. And what have the biggest changes been have you seen since, maybe you were here early on in your career to now being the head coach going into year 7?
Yeah, probably just, the money you're feeding an army every day. You got 119 players. So if you imagine feeding 119 people or making sure that they're fed and they're getting the proper nutrition, and that takes money. So you got to have money to be able to do that. And fortunately, we're in a great community, great university that supports it. Athletic director supports our guys being on campus and getting to train, getting to eat. And, the guys that played we didn't get any of that. They're having peanut butter jelly sandwiches and probably the juice from McDonald's,
Right.
That Mr. Cavalli would donate back in the 90s, the powder. So these guys are getting the top notch, and, that's because of the support we have from, our boosters, our alumni unbelievable. They help feed our walk-ons, and the money that they raise goes into supporting those guys so that they get food in them. So, I see that as probably the main. And you can throw in, in the last 7 years when I took the job, there was no NIL or transfer portal, so you kind of had to adjust and fall on your face a little bit, learn from it, and try to find the spot that you're good with, that you can be competitive with, especially for us in the Missouri Valley Football Conference and FCS and all.
Absolutely. And, looking at these three guys, we've got three guys on the offensive side of the ball here, quarterback, tight end, offensive tackle. And with an offense that put up some huge numbers, I mean, Beau, I know you're a very humble guy, but winning the Walter Payton Award, the best player in FCS football last year, and I'm sure you're going to give all the credit to the offense and your teammates, but what did that award mean for you? And, you guys jump in with that as, being offensive teammates on that. What do you think, Beau?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome being able to do that, and seeing what our offense was able to accomplish this past year. Just with the growth of our guys and with, Coach Yursich coming in as OC, just learning from him. It was great, but, that wasn't our goal. For me, that wasn't my goal. And I know, the guys loved it, but, we have bigger things in mind, and we're team minded, and, we have team goals. It was good, and it was just a stepping block in the road that we're going to use to catapult us to what the real goal is, which is Missouri Valley Championship and the national championship.
Very good. Des and Alex, what do you think from last year from an offensive standpoint? Reflecting on that, but also like Beau said, kind of looking forward to this season. What kind of jumps do you want to see in either your individual game or offense as a whole?
I think definitely some jumps could be made in my game. I mean, going into last year, I wasn't even slated to be a starter, and I got a couple injuries, so I had an opportunity to play, and I took advantage of it. But definitely just work towards executing everything we can and everyone just doing our job, being on the same page all the time, and being able to run 100% and not make like silly little mental mistakes that might get in our way.
For sure. Des?
Yeah, it was really cool to be a part of. It was really cool to see Beau do that. And it really showed us like what we need to do, and like Beau said, like a stepping stone, kind of like what needs to happen for us to reach our goals.
For sure. And real quick, Des, especially you, like, a guy like Beau, a guy like Alex, they can put numbers up on the stat sheet. When you're looking at the box score, an offensive tackle, for a traditional fan, you're not getting stats in there. So guys don't see, the typical fan doesn't see what you do play in, play out. So why don't you two, especially, and being a tight end, you're blocking too a lot of the time. Beau, I guess we'll start with you. What does that mean to have an offensive tackle and a guy that blocks and puts in all the work and maybe doesn't get that notoriety that, maybe some of the skill guys do?
Yeah. I mean, I know it, and I know they know it, that I'm not the player I am without them. As an offense, it starts with those guys up front, and we wouldn't be who we are without them. I think we have the best O-line in the country, and I stand by that. And we were as successful as we were last year as an offense because of them. And that's plain and simple how it is. We're not who we are as an offense at Youngstown State without those guys up front. And they make it all go. And so if they just keep doing what they're doing, there's big things ahead.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, Beau really hit the nail on the head with that one. But me personally, I love to go back and watch games and watch like how our O-line does and talk to them about how they feel about it. Cause I go down, I block with them sometimes, but it's not like I can still catch a ball, but they're definitely a huge help to our offense. And it's just amazing what they can do, and giving Beau the time he needs and setting up runs and everything like that. They're just tough, physical, nasty guys.
Absolutely. Anybody that, knows football was going to tell you the game is won up front in the trenches. Coach, to your, you brought in Coach Yursich, and you guys, I think last year, just looking at these numbers, 460 yards a game. I think you had 53 total touchdowns last year. What does a coach like Coach Yursich, who has a ton of experience at a lot of big programs, what does he bring to the table with some of these guys?
Well, a lot of football knowledge, knows, how to attack defenses and the knowledge that he can give these guys. I think if they sit in a unit meeting, they can learn real quick, where his mind is thinking and how we got to attack. And it can change from one week to the other.
Absolutely.
And, it first starts out by utilizing, what are their strengths, and looking to see what's our offensive line strength, what's our tight end strength, what can our quarterback do? And then just finding ways to attack that defense. And, he's a brilliant mind. He's kind of fun. The intensity he carries on the field, I love it because, he's ripping Beau, probably every 2 minutes. And then off the field, I love how he has a great relationship with all these guys. So, again, comes with the tremendous pedigree of experience at the Power Four. And I think, that came with him. I think, he earned that respect just stepping into the room, and now to be able to go out there and perform. I think our kids have the utmost respect for him.
That's great. I do want to get back to the offensive side of the ball in a little bit, but I want to talk to you guys about like just a holistic, look at things. And Coach, you said something last year that stuck with me. You said we either win or we learn. And, you guys won a lot last year, but, not to bring up a negative subject, but you had a tough one right at the end. So what did you guys learn most, do you think? And we'll start with Coach and work our way down. What did you guys learn most from last season that you can take into this season?
I think the belief, and there's times last year, and I know how our guys fight. If we're down, they're usually fighting. I can go back to a lot of football games, Illinois State, you can go to Towson, but it's those games where you either jump out into a big lead. I still recall, walking down the ramp against South Dakota State with a 17-7. I really thought it should have probably been a 28-7 halftime lead on them. But having the belief that, no, we can do this. Yes, we can do this for 60 minutes, and having the belief of that and staying focused. It's a 60-minute game. Anything can happen in a football game. It's a tough lesson. It's hard to swallow. It's one that, you got to let go. You got to learn from it. And you got to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And how do you do that? You got to use those lessons and prepare yourself and have the belief that what we do in the off season and spring ball, weight room, conditioning, practice plan leads up to you to have success on those Saturdays, and understanding that it's a 60-minute game. And, it comes down to fundamentals. It comes down to that brotherhood. It comes down to fighting for one another, whether you're down or up. You got to maintain and be able to be consistent each and every week.
Absolutely. Great answer. Beau, let's go with you. What did you take most away from last year, and what do you think you can build on for this season?
Yeah, I mean, Coach said it, and you hear it a lot, and you don't really understand it until you live it. And it's that football's a 4-quarter game. It's 60 minutes, and a lead can change like that. It doesn't matter how much you're up, how much you're down. We've come back from games, and we've also blown big leads, and that doesn't really resonate with you until you've gone through it. But you can't mentally check out of a game until the clock strikes 0. And if it takes, extra innings, 4+ quarters, then that's what it takes. But I think a lot of times, we would get big leads, and sometimes we would just, mentally check out, go to the next game. What's next? And that's something that we've learned from, and that's never going to happen again. So for me and for this team, I know that's something we focus this offseason, touching on that belief. With a big lead, no matter how high you're up, how high you're down, you're always going to get back in it. So that's something Coach has hammered on us this offseason. And yeah.
And I don't know. I think that's a human nature thing too. I don't know if you guys are NBA fans, but look no further than game 1 of the Cavs-Knicks series, or any of the Knicks Spurs series, where the Spurs, 29 points up with 13 minutes to go in the game, and the Knicks come back and win it. But it's that's a human nature thing that I think people can let down their guard, and like you said, I think that's a great lesson going forward. Alex, let's go to you.
Yeah, definitely. Like what Beau said, you don't really experience it until you live through something like that. And we've definitely been hammering it in this offseason about focus, and how Coach said you lose focus. But our strength coach, he every morning when we work out, he always asks us, usually ends like the break or his little speech with, he goes, what's the next most important thing? And that really helps. For me personally, it really helps me focus on what needs to be done in the next 10 minutes, next training block, whatever it is, and just honing in on what's the next most important thing, what I can do to get better right now. So,
Okay. Great answer.
Yeah. That last game, I think it really just taught us about finish and like the importance of being where your feet are. Like you can jump out to a big lead, not to be thinking about the second round of the playoffs or what else were we doing after the game. Like being where your feet are at every snap, every play of the game.
It's very good. Very good. Yeah, you guys have a lot of team goals, I'm sure, for this season to obviously get back to the playoffs, win the Missouri Valley. Coach, can you speak to some of those, individual not individual team goals that you might have? And I might have already answered your question, but what are some of those team goals?
It's in their team manual. We always want to build a championship locker room, and I believe you have to win in the locker room before you can win on the football field, and that means championship football. There's got to be a strong brotherhood where you're fighting for one another. We had a goal coming in when these guys were freshmen to have a 3.4 GPA overall as a team, 119. And for the first time in Youngstown State history, we had that 3.4, so we can check that box.
Very nice. Okay.
And then it's the Missouri Valley. And, again, it's one day. I'm focused on having the best Monday practice next week. But, your goals is we're only playing 11 games. Most are playing 12. So you got to focus on each and every game. And you got to look, I think, to reach your full potential. Every game you have an opportunity to get better, and that's what we need to do. And it starts with our non-league, but we've never won a Missouri Valley Football Conference championship, and that's always our first goal, and to be consistently play in that league and win on the road and at home. If you can do those things, that sets you up for what you could do. Our league, it just shows you the last team in last year was Illinois State, and they're the last team in and made a run all the way to the championship. So our league prepares us. We understand, what that's going to look like. There's going to be highs and lows, and how you handle those highs and lows dictates, and making sure that our mindset is there each and every play, every game to keep getting better.
Love that answer. And you guys had mentioned the Missouri Valley Conference. You guys came in preseason ranked third this season. South Dakota State, have been a juggernaut over the past decade, really. North Dakota State leaves the conference this year and heads to, I believe, the Mountain West Conference. And you got Illinois State up there at number 2, right in front of you guys. When you guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys beat Illinois State last year. Did you not? Yeah. So, I mean, was part of you guys watching, and I don't know if you guys can answer this individually, but were part of you watching some of those games and like, I mean, that should be us playing in these games right now. Was there any part of you guys thinking that, or maybe do you tune out and not even watch some of those games? What do you guys do last year?
Yeah, I mean, after that Yale loss, seeing how far Illinois State won, we know as a team, if we play to our fullest potential with what we have, we believe we're national champs. And so honestly, for myself, I didn't turn on any other playoff games on the TV. I didn't want to watch because I knew that could have been and should have been us in that position. But, there's a reason everything happens, and there's a reason the Lord had us losing that game. And, maybe the things that we learned from that Yale loss, maybe they would have showed up this year if that didn't happen. So things happen for a reason, but it was definitely hard watching those Illinois State games.
No doubt. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah. Just to piggyback off what Beau said, after that Yale loss, I didn't really want to watch football at all for the rest of the year. But I did end up turning on the second half of that national championship game. But that was about it. And obviously what Beau said, like knowing our team and what we believe is that we could be national champions if we play to our exact, like the level that we should be playing at.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it definitely sucked. But like Beau said, things happen for a reason. We learned a lot from it. I mean, yeah, it's a tough lesson to learn, but we definitely learned a lot from it. And, I mean, it was cool to see kind of a team that kind of snuck in there at the end. Like, see, like, this is a game of runs, see how far they can go. So, I mean, yeah, but it definitely sucked.
Yeah, I hate to harp on that, on the loss last year, but like it just shows you guys week in, week out. You look 1 through 9 in your conference, you guys can beat any team in that, and let alone any team in FCS. So you guys are right there. You put it all together, and you can get it done. Coach, we have talked a lot last year, but a lot of new rules coming in for college football, and a lot of expectations placed on the head coach and your support system around you. And you don't only have to deal with like just coaching football. You have to deal with, you mentioned we got to feed 119 guys. You got an NIL. You have the transfer portal. You have the new 5-for-5 rule. You got all this other stuff. How do you handle that as a head coach? And what expectations does that put? Because I think people are like, oh, college football coach, that's a tough job. And then you're putting all these other layers on top of it now that we didn't have 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago.
You got to hire great coaches, great assistant coaches. I wish I could just sit and watch football day, but there's certain things I got to get done. I got to raise the money. I got to go do the things that you do, whether it's radio show, TV shows, but raising money is probably a very big piece of this. And you put a plan together and you try to stick to that plan, an organizational plan on scheduling, an organizational plan. Years ago, we put in fact, and I remember telling people, guys, I don't need money to go buy players. I don't want to do that. I still think we recruit great high school players. You got 3 that are sitting here right now, that I knew that we can go recruit players. We can develop players. We can develop a Leigh who only played 8 high school games, or Beau Brungard, 3-sport athlete, that we thought could be a quarterback, and we stuck to our guns and we kept them at quarterback. Or Alex was in a wing T offense. I don't know if he ever touched the ball as Shar unless they handed it off to him. So for me, knew that one day though we needed to raise money to retain. So it was recruit, develop, and retain, and to be able to see that plan come to fruition, because everyone just thinks, I don't want to live in the portal. I really don't. We have a great locker room because right now we take 20 to 25 high school freshmen every year. We're going to develop them. And once we develop, now it's our chance to be able to retain. And we're able to do that. And I couldn't be more proud of these young men that are sitting here. So, right, wrong, indifferent, you got to have a plan. You stick to it. And, our goal is still, we haven't achieved what we needed to achieve. And I think that's what we start on July 27th when we begin camp.
Nice. Very nice. Great answer. And I'm always so curious about that because, you're even seeing that at some of the high school levels with open enrollment, kids transferring, going to different schools. Beau, without saying any names, I do know a couple schools were after you. And, what made you stay in Youngstown? I heard coach's word retain. What made you stay? And I know, again, I just heard through the grapevine, a couple schools in particular were coming after you really hard. What made you stay in Youngstown?
My biggest thing was, I prayed so much during that time, what was God's will for my life and where did he want me to be? And I felt in my heart that he was calling me to stay in Youngstown. And I had a great talk with coach, and he told me, let's look in the mirror and let's see what you value. If you value money and going and chasing those and climbing the ladder and going and playing at FBS, then that's your thing. You can go do that. But, in my heart, I valued loyalty. I valued staying true to my word and the commitment that I made, my family, this community. And so when I looked at it like that, it really made my decision easy, to be honest.
And Alex and Des, I don't know what your guys' recruiting cycle was like when you guys were coming up through high school, or if anyone's ever been like, hey, you want to jump in that portal and come and take. But what has made Youngstown a special place for both of you guys?
Youngstown, it's just truly been special to me because there's it's really the culture around here, and everybody gets behind the football team. We played that South Dakota State game last year, and I don't think I've ever seen the tailgate lot be that packed before in my life. Mm-hmm. And it's just shows you what a good ball team does to a town like this, it's incredible. And that's really what's made Youngstown special to me.
Very nice.
No, yeah, Youngstown has been great to me. I mean, like, yeah, I grew up in Kent, but like I really became like kind of a man in Youngstown from 18 to 22. I mean, is where I spent some really formative years of my life. Community's been great to me. Everybody's been great to me. It's really felt like home.
And is that 8 high school games? 8 high school games you played in?
Yeah, it might not have been 8. I don't know, because I think one game got canceled because of COVID.
Oh, jeez.
So
Shoot, I've been saying 8. It's 7.
I think it might have been 7.
Either way, that's so impressive. And you've become entering your 3rd year as a starter, correct?
Fourth year.
Fourth year. Okay. All right. And Alex, you've worked your way up through special teams and got your role as a part-time starter last year and becoming a starter this year, right? So talk to us a little bit about being a special teams guy and then, getting to, be on the offensive side of the ball then.
For me, it was just like big focus on team, do whatever I can to help out the team. Wherever the team needs me, I would go. I would attack it head on because I knew that was like one of the only ways I could get on the field with special teams, and especially if you get on enough special teams, they eventually take you to travel. So being a younger guy and being able to travel was an awesome experience. And then just working up through and just knowing what I got to do and doing my job day in and day out has provided me with the opportunities of being a part-time starter and full starter. So
that's great. That's great. So let's talk a little bit about the defensive side of the ball now, Coach. You bring in a new DC from Mercyhurst, former head coach who you guys happened to open with first game of the season. So what's the defense going to look like this year a little bit without giving too much away? And what's your expectations for the defense to take a stride in 2026?
Had the opportunity, and first thing I'd look for is, leadership and, having a head coach that, has called a defense and coming in here organizationally and being able to work with the coaches that we have here. I think we have some great defensive coaches. We have Mike Zordich and Trent Voss and Ray Hunter and for someone to come in and kind of lead, and it's been new, just like these guys had to learn a whole new offense the spring before. Our defense kind of had to transform itself. And, for me, I really looked, we watched the Mercyhurst, for me, watched the game. And, it was a game I thought they played good defense against us. And it was hard knowing what they were in. I think I always ask Beau, can you tell what coverage you're in? Can you tell what they're doing up front? And, I think we'll be more multiple than we've ever been. I do believe we're very athletic on that side of the ball. There's some guys, nobody knows their name yet. And I think people will get to know them as the season progresses. And it's just like the offense last year. We're figuring it out weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4 before we really got on a roll. And I see the same thing defensively. We got a lot of returning guys up front at linebacker, got some guys with experience at safety, but I just really like the athleticism. I saw a lot of togetherness, and these guys could probably give you more of what they saw during spring too.
Yeah. What do you guys think about like the new look defense that you're going against a little bit in the spring?
Yeah, it's allowed us to go against a different look. And for me personally, allow me to mentally sharpen myself with my football IQ, going against different coverages, different fronts, all those things. But it's been great to be able to go against them. Coach always says iron sharpens iron. And I can tell you for sure we've gotten better this spring going against our defense. And last year we had the same thing. We had a new OC come in and you just got to have that full trust that it's going to work out and that, it's going to turn out great during the season. And I think our defense has done that. And Coach Remedio, like Coach says, is a great leader and he's awesome. And the guys really love him. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback off what Beau said, I mean, he really hit all the checks there. But
my bad.
But yeah, it's definitely made me more mentally aware of as a football player of like what coverage they're in with all the disguises and all the different blitzes that Coach Remedio runs, and he runs a great defense over there. It's really really, really good stuff. So,
Des, what are you seeing from the defensive side of the ball?
No, it's been great. I mean, definitely I'd say as an offense, our like football IQs definitely went up just because you play so many different fronts and coverages and guys are doing different things all the time. It's been really great to see. And then a lot of those guys are like Coach said, like really athletic. Every practice is a battle. So it's been great.
Who talks more trash, the offensive side? You guys seem like quieter, more humble guys. Offense or defense? Who talks more trash?
Oh, defense does. We let our play do the talking. We just drive the ball down the field, and they have to make up for it with their mouths. So,
good answer. I like that. Coach, what do you think? Who talks more trash, offense or defense?
I don't know. Des will get going when he gets upset.
He gets chirpy.
When he gets chirpy when he gets upset. But definitely, you get out in those skill positions. Wide receivers will talk, just as much as the defense. And we talked a lot about too discipline and fundamentals, and just keeping your head on when things aren't going well. And there was times last year. And I thought last year we had a team that could beat anyone in the country, but at times I felt like we had a team too that could lose to anybody that was on our schedule. And I think the focus have been on that discipline and on the fundamentals and the focus, that it's going to take 60 minutes. And, I've seen a lot of maturity on the defensive side of the ball that we needed. We go back, there were some penalties that, I wish we could get away with, and you can't, and you got to keep your cool because you never know when one of those calls is going to affect and change the outcome of a football game. And that's where you learn, and it's a tough lesson. I know I keep bringing it back, but we got to learn from it. And there's not a day goes by that we don't discuss, not that specifically. We'll show other games, other teams. I don't care if it's NFL. Sure. I don't care if it's soccer. I don't care what sport, basketball.
Situational. It's
situational, and guys just being able to stay level-headed at the most crucial times. And, that's the thing we're going to continue to emphasize, continue to focus as we begin camp.
Love it. So you guys, especially in the NIL transfer portal era, guys are, guaranteed 5 years now too, but you are probably seeing it at least 25 guys heading out every year and 25 guys heading in, and you guys as players for the last 5 years. I mean, do you have name tags or, how long does it take to learn especially all the freshmen coming in, some of the transfer guys? Like, how do you guys acclimate new guys to the roster? What do you do first of all, from a teammate perspective, and then we'll get Coach's answer on that.
You guys want to start down there?
Sure. We spend so much time around each other, so much time in the building that you'll see the same face over and over, and you come to know all the people on the team. So, it's not as hard as you think, just because of the amount of time you spend around guys.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I would say the locker room is also a huge help. Just getting out. For some people, it's getting out of their comfort zone, going, introducing themselves as a new player that maybe they've never seen before, anything like that. But definitely what Des said, we spend so much time together that it's almost hard not to meet your new teammates and everything like that.
Right.
For me, I'm really bad with names, and I have a really hard time doing this. But what helps me is when we're watching film and I see a guy make a play, I'm like, all right, what's his name? Yeah. And then it clicks.
Okay.
So when I see guys make plays on film, for some reason, it just clicks in my head, and it helps me remember names that way when I'm watching film.
Okay. And Coach, I mean, you're recruiting these players. Mm-hmm. You're talking to them. If they're in the portal, from your perspective, you're not just dealing with 25 players or 40 players, however many it might be. You're also dealing with family, different situations. How do you handle that as a head coach?
Yeah, I focus on the player first and foremost, meaning if I know every player on our team, I know every name, I played a role in recruiting them. And, going into year 7, you can say that now, where, maybe 2 years ago or 3 years ago, you couldn't say it. So, and understanding who those guys are, because the recruiting piece is so important, and making sure that whoever we bring in fits with the culture that you have in that locker room. And I give credit to these guys. We're a player-led program. So these guys are the leaders of the program. And if there's ever a player, I don't care how good he is, if they ever said, coach, it's just not who we are, guess what? We probably wouldn't recruit that player, whether it was from the portal. And you don't want to live in the portal. Like I tell our coaches all the time, find me high school players, because we start January 4th, portal opens on the 4th. So, if there's a need and we need an older guy, guess what? I'm going to go to the footprint. We got 2 defensive tackles, and everyone says Holy Cross and Temple, but the Holy Cross is from Akron-Holben. The one from Temple is from Penn Trafford, Western PA, Northeast Ohio. So we try to find guys that are in the portal, and we love those Division II guys, and especially if they're from Ohio or Western Pennsylvania. So you got to have that plan. You stick to it. But these guys, help me understand, who fits in that locker room, and they would tell me if we had a problem. And right now, I really like how it's John. We got a big golf outing Thursday afternoon, a scramble, that we put all the guys who has golf clubs. That's the most important thing. Then the guys who don't have golf clubs, the guys that can hit, the guys that can't hit, but you try to do fun things, and we'll continue to do that for, camp. I tried to make it easy this year. When you walk in a team meeting, these guys get to pick their music. There's a picture of them, tells them their name, position, high school. So as you go through camp, you're learning each day, maybe somebody different that's on the board with their music playing. What was your music, Beau? Did you go? Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet. Don't tell me. Des, you went. What was your song?
It was Black Pearl Jam?
Pearl Jam. Okay. It was Pearl Jam. So, you find different ways of getting our kids to know each other.
I like that. I like that. And like the big word I hear from all 4 of you is culture. And that seems to be, I know you have the grit, mentality, Northeast Ohio, hardworking, but the culture and family seems to be a big ideal with Youngstown State Football. I want to be respectful of your guys' time. I know I said we'd try to wrap up around 2:00. So let's go a couple rapid fire questions for you guys as we go out. We'll keep this to players.
Tempo.
We'll stick this to players on this one. And Des, let's work our way backwards this time. We'll start with Des on this one. Favorite pregame or postgame meal?
Pregame, pasta, any kind of pasta. Postgame, wings. Yeah.
Okay.
I would have to say pregame for sure, like pasta and some sort of chicken, and then postgame, like Raising Cane's.
Okay. All right.
Pregame, a light meal. Keep it simple. Maybe some eggs, chicken, whatever it may be. Post game, got to go to the MVR.
Okay.
Get some of that trestle tortellini.
Trestle tortellini.
Yeah, you got to.
One aspect of your game you want to improve this year. Alex, let's start with you.
One aspect of my game would definitely be cleaner routes, like a little bit better route runner.
Okay. Go watch your Michigan State tape last year. You played a hell of a game against Michigan State.
I'd say my fundamentals, just overall fundamentals.
Okay.
Yeah, cleaner footwork in big moments. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cleaning it up, not being sloppy.
Favorite TV show, movie, podcast, or book?
I got this one. Favorite movie? It's actually me and my dad's favorite movie. It's Tommy Boy.
Okay.
Chris Farley classic.
Absolutely.
Hard to beat.
That is a great one.
Favorite movie? Honestly, Godzilla. That came out in 2014. That's my favorite movie.
Okay.
My favorite book, the Bible. My favorite show. This is tough. Right now, me and my wife are watching Suits. Really good show.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to say Breaking Bad, though.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Great one. What player? This is a two-parter. What player do you fashion your game after, or what player do you look up to the most? Des, let's start with you.
I like to watch a lot of NFL tape. I like to watch Tristan Wirfs, Buccaneers tackle, or say maybe Andrew Thomas,
Okay.
Giants tackle.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I'll say a player I looked up to a lot when I was growing up was a little known Browns tight end is Gary Barnage.
I remember
I
Gary
used to
Barnage.
watch.
Number
I used
82.
to watch. Yeah, I used to watch
I remember
him.
Gary Barnage.
And he was really like the first one that like I was like, man, I could probably play that
That's
position.
probably the first Gary Barnidge name drop in quite a while. But that's a great call.
Two guys, Drew Brees, just for his stature and the success he had at that position, his leadership ability. Oh, you got to love it. And then Lamar Jackson. Everybody told him you're not a quarterback, and look what he's doing in the NFL. So
Fantastic. What would you rather play in 100 degrees or a blizzard?
Blizzard.
I'm gonna go 100 degrees.
Yeah. Okay, Coach. What about you? What game are you rather coaching in, a blizzard or 100 degrees?
Get the W. No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Good answer. All right, last one of these. Favorite YSU helmet? You guys have a lot of different combinations.
The red penguin.
Red penguin. The big penguin on there. Yep.
The all white helmet we wore last year against North Dakota State with the red
clean.
sticker. That
one is clean.
my favorite ever.
Yeah, the penguin. Gotta love the big penguin on the side of the helmet.
It's so cool. Like it's I think the only college in the country that features a penguin as a mascot, which is very unique and cool. So 38 days from now, you guys kick off against the Mercyhurst Lakers at Standby Stadium, 6 p.m. Final message you guys want to get out there to Penguin Nation, Youngstown State fans. I'll let whoever wants to take this one lead off. So your final message to Penguin fans entering the 2026 football season.
Yeah, I know we stayed in Youngstown for a reason. It's because we love Youngstown. We love the fans. We love the community. And I would love to see the first game of the year as packed as that concert was last weekend. I mean, it was packed to the top.
That's true.
So I know we all want to see it that packed. Yeah.
Yeah, just come out, come support. We'd love to have you guys. We're going to put on a show.
Yeah, definitely. Just both what these guys both just said. Don't really have much to add other than just pack the castle, man.
Love it. Coach, what's your final message going into this season?
That I think we play for Youngstown. We play for this university, this community. We serve it. And like Beau said, I was turning around at that concert, and I remember those days. I remember the 90s and seeing how packed that stadium could be and how much this phone is taken away. You can watch their game. I know you can watch your game in the comforts anywhere in the country and watch ESPN3 and catch our games. But, to get people out there, it makes a difference. These guys, I know the South Dakota State was crazy when we got off the bus, and just hearing the crowd and the support that we have, it means a lot. It's a home field advantage in the Ice Castle. And, we got to have an advantage and win every game in that Ice Castle.
Yeah, set the tone early, especially Thursday kickoff, which is so cool. I think that's that week 0 of college football. So get out and support the Penguins 38 days from now, Thursday, August 27th at Standby Stadium. Gentlemen, good luck this season. Go Penguins, and appreciate you taking your time and coming down today.
Go Gwins.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. Thank you for your support.